Kia ora Year 12. This is the last video on Algebra for Term 1, and today we're going to look at how to rearrange a formula. This is also called changing the subject, and it's one of the most useful skills in algebra. For example, all the way back in Year 10, when we had the area of a circle, this was given to us with the area being the subject. And that works out fine if we know the radius. But sometimes we want to rearrange formulae so that if we're given the area, we can work backwards to get the radius. So that's what we mean by changing the subject of the formula. Now to start with in this one, I'm going to go back to some really easy ones that are like the Year 10 ones that aren't going to have much practical use. Then we're going to work our way up to some quite difficult ones. This video will probably be around 10 minutes long, and then go and do the Walker questions on page 84 and the Dr. Frost ones that I'm setting for you tonight. So let's look at a bunch of questions here. When we are trying to change the subject of the formula, we have to be told what we want to change it to. So I'm going to write that up on each of these now. So we'll do, this one's going to change to have W as the subject, this one as X, this one as X, this one as X, this one as Y, this one as Y, and this one as Y. So these are all really, really easy one-step situations. If I've got Z is equal to W plus 3, I have to subtract 3 from both sides, right? So I'm trying to make it be W equals blah, blah. So we get Z minus 3 is equal to W. Now we've finished because we've isolated the W and we've got that on its own. Okay, so on to this next one. We've got Y equals X minus 2, and we want to make X be the subject. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. We have Y plus 2 is equal to X. Right, they're getting a little bit trickier now. Y divided by 5 is equal to 2x plus 1. We want to make X be the subject. So here we have to do a couple of steps. First, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So we have Y on 5, take away 1, is equal to 2x. And now we're going to divide both sides by 2. So Y divided by 5 divided by 2 will give me Y divided by 10 minus 1 divided by 2 is equal to X. So that's that one done. Right, let's have a look at the next ones. Okay, then they go back to being pretty easy again. This is just getting us used to the undoing idea before we start doing any harder undoings. Right, what's next? Y take away 4 equals 5x. If I want to make X the subject, I just have to divide both sides by 5. We get Y minus 4 over 5 equals X. It's fine to leave it like that. For the next one, we want to make Y the subject. We've got 4x is equal to 3y. We have to divide both sides by 3. That gives me 4x over 3 is equal to y. Okay, just a couple more. And the next one, we want to make y the subject again. We've got a minus 2 equals 2y. We're going to divide both sides by 2. A minus 2 divided by 2 is equal to y. And that's fine. We could clean that up another step and do a divided by 2 minus 1 equals y, but that would be fine as it is up there. And the last one, x equals y divided by 3. We're going to times both sides by 3 and get 3x equals y. But obviously these are not difficult enough to be level 2 algebra ones. So now we're going to look at some that are a little bit more realistic. And most of these formulae are just ones that I've made up or that I've grabbed from Dr. Frost. They don't have any practical use, but we'll move on to some from geometry and trig later on. So again, I have to tell you what we're trying to have be the subject before we change it over. So I'm just going to write that onto the slide now. So here we're going to make X be the subject. Here we're going to make Y be the subject. No, sorry, we're not going to make Y be the subject. We're going to make X be the subject. And this one here, what did I decide to do? We'll make Y be the subject. Here we'll make X be the subject. And here we'll make t be the subject. And in this last one here, we'll make x be the subject. Okay, so I'm going to go pretty slowly through these. What I'd like you to do now is to just pause the video and then have a go at them on your own first and see how far you get. But you probably are going to need to watch this to get the whole way through because there are quite a few steps, especially where we've got fractions and square roots. Okay, so let's work slowly through these. So we're starting off with this one, y is equal to p minus a divided by 3 plus x. And our goal is to make x the subject. So the first thing I want to do is try and get just the stuff with x's in on one side and the other stuff on the other side. But I'm going to start here by adding this onto both sides. All right, so we're going to have a over 3 plus x plus y is equal to p. I'll start like that. And now I'm going to subtract this from both sides. So this is just one way to do this question. I've got a over 3 plus x is equal to p minus y. So there are a few different ways that I can work with this, but often it's quite nice to make that into a fraction and put it divided by 1. Also remember that I've got invisible brackets here, so I'm going to make those visible. Now, one thing that's nice to remember is that, say I've got 1/2 is equal to 3 over x. We can see from looking here that x is equal to 6. But we could write this, instead of writing it as 1 over 2 equals 3 over x, we could write it as 2 over 1 is equal to x over 3. And I'm going to do this here because eventually I want to end up with x in the top line. So we're going to write this as 3 plus x over a is equal to 1 over p minus y. Now I'm still trying to isolate the x, so I'm going to multiply both sides by a because I don't like fractions and I don't like having that underneath the x. So we'll have now 3 plus x is equal to a over p minus y. And then the last step is to subtract 3 from both sides. So x is equal to a over p minus y, take away 3. So that's the final one for that. So they are a bit of a step up on the year 10 kind. Okay, this video is going to be longer than 10 minutes, but I might stop after a couple of these so that you can do something a bit more fun. This one, I'm going to try and make x the subject. So we'll start off like this. The first thing I'm going to do is to multiply both sides by this y. I get y squared is equal to b minus root x. Now I'm going to say y squared take away b is equal to negative root x. So I'm subtracting b from both sides. I'm going to multiply everything through by -1, and that'll give me b minus y squared. Don't know why it's doing that, that's really annoying. B minus y squared is equal to the square root of x. Lastly, I'm going to undo the square root by squaring both sides, and I get b minus y squared in brackets squared is equal to x. Right, I'm just going to do one more in this video and then I'm going to stop. So I'm going to do this one. A over y plus d equals f. And I want to make y the subject. So I'm going to isolate everything that hasn't got y's in it on one side. So this plus d, I'm going to subtract from both sides. This time, I'm going to multiply everything through by the y. So we'll have a is equal to y times f minus d. Finally, I'm going to divide everything through by f minus d, and I'll get a divided by f minus d. Let's just write that out again. A divided by f minus d is equal to y. Okay, I think that'll do for one video. I'll just go back to those other ones that we've got here, and we'll do those in the next one. So we've got 3 more to do here, and then I've put some more on the next page. Where have they gone? Nope, they've disappeared. Okay, so that's all for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and go and have a go at the questions in the Walker workbook.